Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission, really, is pretty simple. We take a bunch of sources, pull out the key bits of knowledge, and help you get properly informed, without drowning in information.
Exactly. And today we're delving into something really personal, often quite difficult, the journey to becoming parents when facing infertility.
Yeah, it's a path so many people walk. For this deep dive, we're looking at a very moving personal account called From Heartbreak to Hope, A Journey to Motherhood.
It's a really raw, honest story, gives you a proper look at one couple's experience, but, with insights that feel universal about just keeping going, finding hope.
So let's set the scene for you. We're talking about Nancy, who's 39, and her husband Tom, he's 43. They live in New York City. And like many couples, they started trying to build their family, embarking on that whole emotional journey.
Yeah, Nancy mentions it began about 2.5 years back when she was 36. They were trying naturally at first, feeling optimistic.
As you do. But then, month after month, nothing.
Right. So after a year with no success, they did what a lot of couples end up doing. They went to see a fertility specialist.
And that's where things started to get, really clear. The initial hurdles became quite stark.
Yeah, the medical reality hit them pretty fast.
Nancy's diagnosis, it was tough. Her FSH level, that's follicle stimulating hormone, was high at 21.
Which isn't ideal.
No. And her AMH, anti-Müllerian hormone, was really low, 0.12. Just to give you some context, those numbers strongly suggest diminished ovarian reserve, basically a low egg supply.
It really highlights something important, doesn't it? Age is a factor, sure, but these individual markers like FSH, AMH, they give a much clearer, sometimes quite surprising picture.
Absolutely. It's a real prompt for couples to get that comprehensive testing done early because those numbers, they can really shape the path forward even if the news is hard to take.
And it wasn't only Nancy facing challenges. Tom's tests, they also showed significant issues.
That's right. Low sperm count, poor motility, and also sperm DNA fragmentation. So you've got the situation where, both partners are dealing with pretty big obstacles.
Exactly. Nancy said their doctor, while kind, was very direct about it. Their chances of conceiving naturally, very slim.
Wow, okay. So what did they do?
Well, despite that tough news, they decided to push forward with IVF, in vitro fertilization.
Right.
And they went through three pretty grueling cycles. We're talking countless injections, constant appointments.
Oh, the emotional toll must have been immense, just the waiting and hoping.
Totally. A real test of endurance, as Nancy put it.
So those first 3 attempts, what came out of them?
Well, they managed to get 4 fertilized eggs in total from those retrievals.
Okay.
And 2 of those actually developed to the blastocyst stage.
Yeah.
That's like day 5 or 6 for an embryo, a really key point for implantation success.
Hey, so getting 2 blastocysts after all that, they must have felt a surge of hope.
Oh, definitely. Nancy said she and Tom were over the moon. They got takeout to celebrate. Really felt like maybe, just maybe, their dream was finally within reach.
You can feel that moment, can't you? That little bit of light after so much struggle.
Yeah. But then came a really, truly devastating blow.
Uh-oh.
They decided to do pre-implantation genetic testing, PGTA, on those 2 blastocysts.
Okay, standard procedure for many.
Right. But the results came back.
Yeah.
Both were chromosomally abnormal.
Oh, no, both of them.
Both of them. Nancy described it just like her heart sank. Like the universe was playing some kind of cruel joke.
Awful. Just crushing news after everything.
It really shines a light on, one of the hidden hurdles in IVF. Even when you get fertilization, even when you get embryos developing, their genetic health is still a huge factor.
Yeah.
It's just a powerful reminder that this whole path, it's rarely straightforward. There are so many points where things can go wrong, where heartbreak can happen.
You really need incredible emotional resilience.
Definitely. You have to be able to navigate these sort of unexpected biological roadblocks.
So that kind of blow, it really changes everything. It led Nancy and Tom to a pretty major decision point, right?
It did. They did a lot of soul searching, and eventually they decided to start exploring using donor eggs.
That's a big step.
Huge. Nancy talked about this really strange mix of feelings, grief, letting go of that genetic connection, but also hope. Hope that this could still be their path to becoming parents.
It's a path many couples bravely take when facing similar hurdles. A courageous decision.
Very courageous. Yeah. But just as they were sort of mentally preparing for this new direction, something else came up, completely unexpected.
Oh.
Yeah, just a casual chat with a friend. The friend mentioned someone called Mike Berkley.
Mike Berkley.
A fertility acupuncturist. Nancy had never heard of him. But her friend apparently couldn't say enough good things, talked about his great reputation among both patients and doctors.
Interesting.
His clinic, the Berkley Center for Reproductive Wellness, it's been around since 1998, helping couples. Nancy said hearing about him, this unexpected recommendation, it felt like a glimmer of hope. Maybe, she thought, this was their last shot. She just felt compelled to look into it.
Wow. So just a recommendation out of the blue, potentially changing everything. What did they do?
They decided to go for it, to give this different approach a try. Nancy started treatment with Mike Berkley.
And what was he like? What was the experience?
She described him as really warm, very knowledgeable, and just genuinely invested in their journey, which must have felt, really supportive.
Absolutely. So what did this treatment actually involve? Was it just acupuncture or?
It was more involved than just that. It was a pretty dedicated effort, actually, a 5-month treatment plan.
5 months, okay.
Yeah. Mike used acupuncture, but also customized herbal blends, really tailoring it specifically to Nancy's body and her needs.
Right, a personalized approach.
Exactly. And what Nancy really emphasized, what made it different, was that Mike didn't just work in isolation. He actually collaborated with Nancy's own reproductive endocrinologist.
Oh, that's interesting. So blending the approaches.
Precisely. Blending Western medicine with his traditional Chinese medicine expertise. Nancy said this holistic, compassionate, and very precise approach. It was unlike anything she'd experienced before in their journey.
Okay, so 5 months of this integrated treatment. Then came the moment of truth, I guess. Another egg retrieval.
Exactly. Nancy's 4th egg retrieval. After everything, she was hopeful, but cautiously so. Understandable.
Yeah, you brace yourself.
But what happened next, it was genuinely astonishing. They retrieved 6 eggs this time.
Okay, 6 eggs.
And 3 of those developed successfully into blastocysts.
3! That's already better than before. But the big question, the genetics.
That's the miracle part. All 3 blastocysts, they were confirmed chromosomally normal.
All 3. Seriously.
All 3 healthy.
Wow. After getting 2 abnormal ones before, I can't even imagine the relief.
Nancy said the emotional impact was just immense. Unbelievable was her word. Tears just streaming down their faces. After all the previous heartbreak, this was it. The breakthrough.
It really feels like a testament to that integrative approach, doesn't it, when facing something so complex?
It really does. And the story doesn't end there.
No.
They transferred one of those healthy blastocysts.
Yeah.
And Nancy, well, she's now 37 weeks pregnant.
Oh, fantastic. That's wonderful news.
Yeah, she says she feels the baby kicking all the time, a constant, beautiful reminder of the miracle.
That's incredible. And they still have the other 2.
They do. 2 healthy blastocysts, frozen, which gives them this amazing possibility of growing their family even more down the line. Continued hope.
Just amazing. And Nancy's feelings towards Mike Berkley and his team.
Profound gratitude. She literally calls him a lifeline. She emphasizes Mike's, extraordinary knowledge, not just of acupuncture, but of the Western reproductive medicine side, too, and couples that with just his incredible kindness. She truly feels she wouldn't be pregnant without him.
It's quite a story. So, thinking about our listeners, what's the takeaway here?
Well, Nancy's story is just such a powerful message, isn't it? About perseverance, about not giving up hope, and maybe crucially, about finding help sometimes in the most unexpected places.
Yeah. And if someone listening, maybe you or someone you know, if this story resonates, if you're facing similar fertility challenges, Nancy really urges people to consider reaching out to Mike Berkley.
Right. His clinic, again, is the Berkley Center for Reproductive Wellness, and it's based in New York City.
But what if you're not in New York?
That's the other thing. He actually does phone consultations nationwide.
Oh.
He can guide local acupuncturists to support your treatment, working alongside your doctors. Nancy mentioned he's just incredibly approachable and supportive, really easy to talk to, offers a different kind of hope maybe when other paths feel exhausted.
Okay, good to know. And how can people get in touch?
The phone number is 212-685-0985. And the website is www.berkleycenter.com. That's BERKLEY center.com.
212-685-0985 and berkleycenter.com. Great. It really is a story about how sometimes the right help appears from an unexpected corner and just changes everything.
It really is.
Yeah.
And, it leaves us with a bit of a question to think about, doesn't it? In this world full of really complex challenges, not just fertility, but all sorts of things, how often do we maybe overlook these synergistic approaches? Combining established science with these complementary practices.
Right, like blending Western and Eastern medicine here.
Exactly. And what hidden potential might actually lie in that kind of integrative thinking not just for fertility, but for our overall health and well-being.
That's a really interesting thought to leave people with, something to ponder as you navigate your own complex journeys, whatever they may be.